In the initial configuration lesson, you learned that the General tab allows you to modify the parameters that determine the format and frequency of the downloaded files, which are determined by your search criteria. In this lesson, we will review the additional configuration elements that may help you with more advanced download requirements. Here we will be focusing on the General tab parameters, but we will also discuss the File Name tab. The config.xml file contains parameters that determine how the client will connect to the recording server, how the recordings will be processed and saved on your local file system, and the current search criteria. You can create, save, rename, and recall various configuration files as desired. In the initial configuration lesson, you learned that the export path parameters allow you to save the location of the downloaded files and that you should create a separate subfolder. By default, exported files are saved in the same folder as the configuration files. So, it is a best practice that you save the files to a separate folder to avoid confusion. This folder can be on either a local or network drive. The subdirectory folder allows you to add additional organization to how the files are stored on the drive. If you click on the Select button, you can enable the download client to automatically create subfolders to your export path based on the time and date in which the recordings occur. As the checkboxes are enabled, you can see an example of the path that will be created based on the current date. The Include Data part option adds text notation to the subfolders. The Local Time option will create hourly folders based on your local time instead of UTC time. Here we see an example of the folder structure that is created when the checkboxes for year, month, day, and hour are selected. The Select Search Configuration button allows you to load search parameters into your download client. It also allows you to delete saved search profiles. If you have enabled the Save Search Configuration option, you will be prompted to name and save your search configuration each time you press the Save button. Pressing the Save button without the checkbox selected will save your configuration to the config.xml file, but will not prompt you to save your configuration as a named set of parameters. The Occurrence parameter allows you to set the frequency of the downloads. The Compression field allows you to select the codec that will be used in the downloaded audio files. The Date/Time format fields allow you to choose how the date and time will look in the download client display and in the downloaded metadata. Click on the Test Date/Time format button to show an example of your configured format. Adding the character A shows the time in AM/PM format. Removing the A will show the time in 24-hour format. Modifying the day and month characters allows you to adjust for other regions. The Format of Call Duration allows for a similar configuration, where the Test Duration Format button also shows an example of your configured format. By default, recorded calls remain on the recording server until the configured retention period has expired. The Delete Recordings field allows you to alter the default behavior. The After Retention Time Expires option is the default setting. Selecting the After Retention Time Expires option instructs the server to delete the recordings immediately after a successful download. Your recording server is configured to record audio in either stereo or mono mode. Selecting the Output Format Mono option allows you to convert the downloaded recorded files to mono. This only affects the downloaded files. The files on the recording server will remain unchanged. The Reset Last Export option clears the previously configured search parameters after files are downloaded. This allows you to enter new parameters and a clean search profile immediately after the download has been completed. Note that the displayed fields in the client are not reset, so if you want to repeat the download, you must press the Save button to trigger a new download. Usually, you would keep this option selected. The Overwrite Current configuration allows you to select saved search profiles and overwrite the currently loaded parameters. Usually, you would keep this option selected. The Save Search configuration option enables the client to save your changes to the config.xml file. The best practice is to leave this option selected. The Configure Customer Fields button allows you to add custom parameters to recorded files. This option is only available in on-site implementations and is not available in My Cloud Connect. Clicking on the button opens the Customer Fields configuration window, where you can rename one of the many available custom parameters and choose if those parameters are made available to the Search and Additional Data tabs. Once configured, you can include these custom parameters in your search criteria. Once you configure the parameters on the General tab, continue to configure search parameters and then press the Save button to start the download process and optionally save your search configuration. You can see the status of your download in the Search tab. One last configuration feature is the File Name tab. Here you can append any of the data parameters to the downloaded .wav files. The subtabs and parameters here are the same as the Additional Data tab. Keep in mind that you should be conservative in the number of parameters that you select, as file names can get extremely long if many parameters are selected.